My name is David Miller. I'm an author, an academic, a sociologist who specialises in the analysis of power and propaganda, especially the way states and corporations lobby to secure their interests. I'm also a co-director of Spinwatch, the UK's main lobbying watchdog, which I founded with other academics who were concerned with protecting the public interest. And I'm an anti-Zionist. In October 2021, I was sacked from my job as Professor of Political Sociology at Bristol University. That resulted from a years-long campaign of intimidation against me by the Israel lobby in Britain. The university's formal reason for terminating my employment, which came after an absurd investigation against me, was that I supposedly did not meet the standards of behaviour expected of staff. Pro-Israel groups had been attempting to silence me for a decade. It began when I gave expert evidence in the case of a Palestinian leader who the Israel lobby wanted to ban from the UK. The attacks and complaints against me at Bristol began in April 2019, which was only a short time after I'd taken on a new job there. The complaints began after I gave a lecture to my students on Islamophobia, which included a brief section on Zionist Islamophobia. That caught the attention of the Community Security Trust, or CST, which is a pro-Israel lobby group. The complaint was rejected because the CST is not a student. So, the lobby group encouraged the president of the Union of Jewish Students in London to complain. She roped in the president of the Bristol Jewish Society, who was a student at Bristol, though she was never a student of mine. After an 18-month investigation, a senior lawyer rejected their complaints and said they were entirely without merit, and there was no basis for any disciplinary action. Yet, in February 2021, just 6 weeks after I was exonerated in the first investigation, Bristol University started another investigation against me. Hysteria was whipped up in the media, particularly by the Jewish Chronicle, about comments I'd made about Zionist student activists on campus, many of whom have links to the Israeli state. That was followed by a huge avalanche of attacks against me. Many of the Israel lobby's assets in Britain, including in Parliament, were mobilised to have me sacked. Despite the fact that a senior lawyer who'd been hired by the university concluded for a second time that my comments were lawful and were not anti-Semitic, Bristol University cobbled together a reason to sack me. They folded under pressure and capitulated to belligerent Zionist activists. It was a disgrace. I'm now in the process of challenging my dismissal at an employment tribunal. This case is obviously very important to me, but it's also important to everyone who cares about freedom of expression and academic freedom. As far as I know, there's no precedent for sacking a professor at a British university for making comments outside of work. That will undoubtedly produce a chilling effect on academics across Britain. But this case is also important to anyone who cares about Palestinian liberation and who stands against racism, including against Zionism. Zionism is the racist ideology that professes the God-given or historical right of European and other Jewish colonisers to seize and occupy Palestinian land, homes and resources. Because of what I said, and because of my evidence-based research, which shows that Zionist campaign groups have funded and promoted Islamophobia, I was subjected to a vicious censorship campaign. We know I was not the first, and I will not be the last, to be subjected to a campaign like this. For many years, they attacked Corbyn allies in the Labour Party, who were supportive of Palestine, particularly targeting Muslims and anti-Zionist Jews. Those same Zionist extremists went after Shahid Abu Salama at Sheffield Hallam University, and recently they went after Shema Delali, now the former president of the National Union of Students, after she was sacked from her position following a bogus anti-Semitism investigation. The Zionist movement is on a mission to turn the meaning of anti-racism on its head. Zionism is, by its nature, a racist, colonialist and white supremacist ideology, but they want to change the meaning of racism, to have those who are unsure, poorly informed or gullible believe that the racists are the anti-racists and the anti-racists are the racists. And they will carry on with their mission unless we draw a line in the sand. This is a litmus test. It's not just about me. Their power comes from a belief they can keep pushing and keep pushing without effective resistance. We have to show them that they will face determined resistance from a growing movement of students, academics and activists. And they should have no doubt we will fight back against Zionist extremism and